You ever been there? In a season where you feel like you're doing everything right. You're praying, you're trusting, you're staying on course, but you are still getting resistance from every single side. It feels like this impossible uphill battle, and man, it is exhausting. Okay, let's get into this, because what if all that resistance isn't a sign you're failing, but a sign that something huge is being built? This is the question, isn't it? It's the one that just echoes in your head, the one you're almost afraid to say out loud. When you are genuinely trying your best, but the mountain just keeps getting steeper, it's only natural to wonder what in the world is going on. You are definitely not alone in asking this. And in those moments, all the well-meaning advice like just be positive or keep pushing, it can feel so empty. And that's because what you're up against isn't just some ordinary pressure. This is a destiny-shaping season, and a few motivational quotes just are not gonna cut it. And this gets us to a really big misunderstanding about these tough seasons. We tend to see this intense pressure as a sign that we messed up, or worse, that we've been abandoned. But the perspective we're looking at today is radically different. So look at it this way. You've got two completely different ways to see the exact same situation. The common view? It's punishment. It's proof God is absent, or it's just random terrible luck. But the deeper reality is that it's actually preparation. It's proof of his involvement, and it is 100% intentional. So here's the absolute key. That feeling of being handled, even when it feels really rough, is proof that something careful and deliberate is happening behind the scenes. It's not that you've been forgotten, it's that you're being worked on directly. So, all right, if it's not punishment, then what is it? It's preparation. It's all about building the capacity inside of you to actually handle the very things you've been praying for. I mean, think about it like this. The big opportunities, the healthy relationships, the greater responsibilities you want, they all require a version of you that's more disciplined, more stable, more emotionally solid. This season, well, this is the construction zone for that future you. And this is really the core of it all. A blessing can show up in an instant, but character, the very foundation you need to hold on to that blessing, that gets built over time, through fire and pressure. Trying to rush that would be like building a skyscraper on a foundation of sand. It just won't work. So to really sustain a blessing, you need two things. On one hand, you need gratitude, for sure. But on the other, you need the strength and the character to manage its weight. This whole period of pressure is building that essential strength so the blessing doesn't end up crushing you. But how does this shaping actually happen? Well, it works by forcing you to look at the parts of yourself that simply can't come with you into the next season. It puts a giant spotlight on all the internal baggage you've been carrying around. And these are the things that just can't make the trip. We're talking about old habits that would totally ruin a new opportunity, fears that would paralyze you under greater pressure, insecurities that would make you sabotage your own success. The struggle is designed to bring these things to the surface so you can finally deal with them. So that feeling of irritation you have, the stuff you used to put up with that now just gets under your skin, that's not a bad sign. It's a sign of growth. It's the discomfort of your old shell cracking because you're expanding into who you're meant to be. Okay, now this leads to what is, for many of us, a really frustrating part of the process. That moment you realize your old ways of coping, your old strategies, they've just completely stopped working. And it's a totally fair question. You're pushing all the same buttons, you're trying all the same fixes that used to bring you some relief, but now you get nothing. So what gives? Why isn't it working anymore? The answer is that there's a fundamental mismatch. You're trying to solve a spiritual problem with purely human tools. You're trying to use motivation where what's really required is surrender. You're filling your time with busyness when what's needed is stillness. You're trying to figure it all out when the whole point is to learn how to rely on a wisdom that's bigger than your own. The only thing that breaks this deadlock, the only thing that gets you unstuck, is alignment. It's about shifting from fighting against the process to cooperating with it. And once you do that, your entire perspective changes. You stop seeing an attack, and you start seeing how you're being shaped. And when you find that alignment, that's when the lift begins. But, it's not the dramatic, overnight explosion that people often imagine. It's something much more stable, much more lasting. See, the lift is actually a gradual process. It's the steady alignment of all the right things. Hidden wounds finally get healed. The wrong connections just kind of quietly exit your life. The right opportunities start showing up, and doors that were bolted shut for years just start to open one by one. And when you look back from that place of clarity, you finally see the struggle for what it really was. It wasn't an enemy, it was a purifier. It was the fire that burned away everything that wasn't solid. It exposed everything that wasn't real, and it strengthened the very core of who you are. And at the end of the day, the struggle itself isn't the biggest threat you face. The real danger is giving up in the middle of the process, because that means you forfeit the very future you've been fighting and praying for this whole time. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this final thought. You're going to look back and realize the struggle didn't actually break you. Instead, it revealed you, it matured you, and it rebuilt you. So the question isn't if you survived it. The real question is, what did it build in you?